put some training into it, like don't just expect a 30-day job and take it home.
Yeah.
Just because you don't have the time
Yeah.
to put the 30 days on there. Like the horse trainers are training horses because they're good at it, or they're better than some people at it,
Yeah.
Let them put time into it. It's $1,000 a month or whatever they charge, but when you get it back, I feel like it should be worth
Money well spent.
Yeah, that's why I stay awake at nights and don't sleep, because if I feel like if I'm not doing a good enough job for them, I feel like I'm stealing.
Yeah.
I'll come right out and tell you, if I come to a spot with your horse where like he's not progressing and things like that, I'm not going to say, hey, leave him another month, and then, hey, leave him another month, and leave him another month. I'd like to say, come up and watch him go, and you ride him, and you tell me if you want to go another month.
Guys, welcome back to another episode of the BioMane Scoop. You got Cole and Ladd co-hosting, and we got our special guest, Dylan Nelson, out of Cedar City, Utah. Dylan's a horse trainer, and we want to cover anything and everything there is to know about horse training and doing it and wanting to do it, not wanting to do it, what you like, what you don't like, and how you got into it. Remember, in the comments section, leave your comments using hashtag... Remind me of the hashtag, Bryce.
The BioMane Live Show.
The BioMane Live Show. In the comment section, use the BioMane Live Show. We do select winners for giveaways throughout the show. We'll do a spin of the wheel, and we'll have you DM us your shipping info, and we'll send it to you. But you've got a hashtag BioMane Live Show.
Correct.
Okay.
Had a lot of really good traction last week on the scoop.
Yeah.
A lot of comments. Thank you for the comments. And yeah, that was probably it's gonna be like this today with the horse training, because
Oh yeah. We'll cover a lot of good stuff. Mm-hmm. And leave a review. We want to know what you like, what you don't like about the show. We read them, we take them to heart, and we change what we can and improve what we want. And if we don't like your comments, we'll probably read it live and discuss it.
Take them to heart.
Take them to heart. I really get personal about the comments.
Cole's just crying at night.
I do. I scroll through and just...
It's a white knuckle drive home. I can't believe they said that.
The audacity.
It's crazy. It's like
why do we do this?
Or then you get it like the 5-star review. Oh, it's pretty good.
Just a pat on the back.
Just a lot of highs and lows.
It's a roller coaster.
Yeah, it is. It's a roller coaster. Emotional. Highly medicated.
I didn't like him either.
Yeah. So, tell us kind of a background on yourself. Where you're from, what got you into horses? You always done it?
Yeah, I'm from Cedar. I moved here from Vegas when I was like 7.
See, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I never rode horses up until I was like 12, and when I did, my dad's always rode horses, and he's always wanted someone to ride horses with, so we rode with him, and I didn't realize how much he has actually taught me up until like a few years ago, and that guy's taught me a lot more about riding horses than most anyone.
Than you realized?
Because we were just the normal, you just ride your horse and make it do whatever you want it to do, and ride it until they break, kind of like ride them all day long, ride them whatever, and then as I got into it more, I realized that there's more of a training aspect to it, and he still ropes with me every day, or a lot of days, and helps me with my colts, and I don't let anybody else help me with my colts other than him.
Cool.
So you're pretty calm, probably pretty calm rider then.
Yeah, like in the round corral and stuff, like if I get in a bind, I can't trust anybody other than him to get me out of it. Like he just knows where to be and what to do and how to solve the situation and not make it worse,
Yeah.
I've had a few different guys try to help me out, and it's like, they're trying, but they're also not not where they're supposed to be, kind of.
Yeah.
He's always just right there in the middle trying to get you out of it, or, and we don't come across a whole lot of wrecks either, but like I said, he's kind of the guy that I rely on all the time.
Cool.
And he's got a good enough job now. I just say, hey, I'm going to start some colts around noon, come home and we'll do these colts, or I need you to go out with me and ride some with me too. And then after that, in high school, I kind of trained horses a little bit for just anybody that would drop one off, and liked doing it. All through high school, I had probably 5 horses at all times, just
Outside horses?
riding them around, and it was just riding them, putting 30 days on them, sending them home, or maybe chasing a cow or two on them. And then out of high school, I went and worked for Dan for a few years, and then I came home, and now I do my own thing.
What do you prefer? If you could work for did you enjoy working for somebody more than you like working for yourself?
They both have their ups and downs. Like, I love to ride for Dan. It was so much fun.
Tell him about Dan a little bit, because, he's got quite the operation.
Yeah. Man, we did everything at Dan's. We roped, we rode, we had reiners, we had calf horses, hill horses, head horses, trail horses, anything that you really wanted. And he was so good about just letting us learn. I don't think there's a whole lot of guys out there that'll just let you get on and learn and do it. He let us ride so many horses and teach us so much stuff through trial and error and things like that, and letting us figure things out ourselves that it helps so much. When you go ride with a lot of people, I don't think you get that experience like we got. And everybody that comes from Dan says the same thing. They learn so much through being able to. He's always there, but he always he just lets you experience it.
Not critiquing every
Yeah,
move
he's
and
not
picking
just
on you.
critiquing and making you feel bad and harping on you. He watches you struggle and figure it out and helps you. And
I think that goes a lot longer ways.
It was awesome.
A lot of clinicians and trainers are they micromanage because they want you to train how they train, and obviously Dan sounds like he's different.
Yeah, they definitely want you to train how they train, and they want their horses a certain way and things like that.
And I think it's different too with different disciplines and different levels of trainers. Like, you go train for a guy that's showing open level reiners.
Yeah.
He's not going to let you just figure stuff out, because those horses have to be perfect. It's not a timed event. You're judged, and those horses have to be perfect. So I don't think that's the case necessarily at Dan's, unless you're getting on the finished show horses and you have to be really fine-tuned on them. But as many horses as he's got, I bet you could learn so much.
Yeah,
just being on everything.
It was so much fun. Like, I look back on my Dan days, and I don't regret any of that.
That's cool. What do you like about being on your own? Not necessarily more, not like you said, there's perks to both, but what are the perks of being on your own versus, and not being personal towards Dan, but working for somebody, regardless of who it is? What's the perks and the pros and the cons of being on your own?
Being on my own, you're your own boss, so that's always good. You kind of do what you want, but being on my own, like I said, I can do what I want. I go a lot of places. I can haul my horses places and things like that. I get to figure things out myself. Get to go ride with different people. Get to experience different things. The hard part about it is the weight on your shoulders all the time. Always trying to please people, and I don't know. You got to work extra hard, when you work for yourself, and there's just a lot to it.
Well, and all the risk is on you too.
Yeah.
Like, if being at a trainer's place, if you're riding under the head trainer and something goes wrong, It's still the head trainer that
yeah.
has to answer
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah, and that's why it was so much fun there. You know, it just we were just able to ride, and you know, we didn't even nothing really ever went wrong either. Just we were able to ride, and nowadays I ride and stuff, but I definitely have to. I don't know. There's a lot of sleepless nights I go through thinking about things going on, or if this horse ain't progressing, or if what I can do different to help it, or you know, or why I can't figure this out, or you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the things that I didn't experience when I rode for someone else.
Yeah.
That's the kind of sleep that you're okay with missing out on, rather than having a client.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like even last night, I didn't sleep good just because I just been thinking about things and
Stressed about being on the show.
yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah.
dang sure stressful.
None of us sleep the night before these shows.
Look at us.
Look at it.
Just draining caffeine and staying up.
No kidding. What, client-wise, if you could give advice to people sending an outside horse to a trainer? Well, let's talk first about kind of what your disciplines are and what you mainly focus on. Like at your program, what kind of horses do you got, and what do you like to have around? I know you team rope, so
Yeah.
obviously you got rope horses.
Train a lot of rope horses. That's kind of most of them. But when you train rope horses, you got to have two people. So I do
Yeah.
have another kid that works for me. And it gives him the opportunity to ride his own, train his own. He sells his own. So it's a pretty good deal for him and me both.
Yeah.
I got a lot of colts too. I keep those to myself. I'm trying to move more into the reining cow horse aspect of it. There's just so much more to a horse than just running down the pen and roping a steer and facing, you know.
Yeah.
The broker the horse is, the better they are at all that. So if I can expand into that and show that and get to where I can do that all right, then my rope horses will get lots better.
Oh, yeah. I talked about this. I don't know if it was me and you talking about it or what. Maybe I was talking to my dad about it. Like, I kind of got, like, I liked roping and stuff before I even got into roping. Like, it was just appealing. It looked fun. It was a cowboy thing to do. But looking back, if I could get back into the first time I really decided to go into a discipline, if I could redo that, I think I'd more favor the cow horse even over the roping.
Yeah.
Just, I
Well, yeah.
love the cow horsing.
The
And
more-
even more than the cut and the reining. I like riding reiners a lot, but the cow aspect of the cow horse, I like, and I would prefer to ride a cow horse over a reiner. And especially roping, I'd rather take a cow horse reject, not even necessarily a reject, but like one that's been in a cow horse program, even over one that's been in a reining program or a cutting program. That's just, I think that's the discipline.
The more I get into it, I like it way more than any of the other.
Yeah, the cow
things.
horse.
Yeah, any other things I do. I don't know. There's just so much more to it than running down the fence or cutting a cow, and a lot. You got to have a better horse.
Mhm.
That's a big part of it.
Then really, you got to have a 3-event horse.
Yeah, you got to have a 3-event horse, and then then after it's all said and done, the team roping is the easiest thing it's ever done.
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
it's just like the base and the root of the horse. Because when we see team roping, it's like, yeah, that's the finished product.
Yeah.
That's what we all want to do. But I think, yeah, had some opportunities when we were younger, probably to ride to some really good guys. But I think when you're little, you don't really see the full spectrum of the horses, what they have to be. How handy could we be if we had just stuck with riding? What happened?
Bryce making fun of my socks.
We just had some viewers that were saying nice socks.
Thanks.
So I was telling you.
They're kind of hammered. They came out of my boots. I wore my boots and my spurs. I didn't want them clanging on the tile, so I took them off.
We probably appreciate those. Well, the horse that we ride now, the really, really broke ones, because we've rode so many donkeys and stinks. You just don't want to deal with them anymore. Then when you get on those good ones, like we talked about last week, it's like, oh, team roping's a little more fun now.
Yeah, people are starting to realize that reiners and cow horses are what to go with. I look back when I was little, and you'd go to a roping around here, and you'd think, you brought that thing?
Oh, yeah.
And you're going to put your money up on that?
Yeah.
You know? It's going to kill you. And nowadays, you go to the roping and things around here, and there's a lot of guys there that are on a horse that lopes around good and stops good and spins good, and they also do the roping part of it good, and they enjoy their time better, and they always win a little more on them, especially around here. Like, it's a movement that's kind of moving into Utah, the better horsepower. If you go down towards Arizona and Texas and stuff,
It's already caught on.
it's caught on. Everybody's riding a good one around there. But around here, it's just people are realizing that it's well worth the money to buy you a good one.
Well, and I think just in the last year, and there's these incentive programs that are helping push it along, but there's guys that never thought they'd be breeding horses, had no business breeding horses, that are looking at it like, man, let's start breeding the good ones.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's spend the money on the good ones. And granted, like, that's the toughest part, is spending the money on them. But if in the long run you're wanting to be competitive and you're wanting to win and want to have a good end product in a horse that you can make money on, or at least not lose money on selling one, you've got to start that good.
Yeah, and even me growing up, I look back on some of the horses I rode, and I thought, man.
Got to buy some bad ones. Right?
Yeah, luckily I'm here.
I know.
That's what makes it more fun, yeah. Thinking back on those ones, we wouldn't dare put our kids on those now.
Right.
Yeah.
But we got stuck. We were put on those.
Yeah.
There's still, sometimes I go to the rope and you can just count. I've seen so many wrecks and things that I can just count the wrecks that could possibly go on.
Yeah. Sitting there
And-
warming up before the rope, and you're like, we're going to have an issue. He's going to have an issue.
You could die. You could be hurt very badly. That's not okay.
Do we have an ambulance on call?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if there's a guy that, like at Ropens, how we have police officers goes around and does citations and tickets to ropers?
We're good on that. We're good on that.
Yeah. It'd ruin it.
We're
It'd
good on
ruin it.
that.
Should be funny though.
Yeah.
That's what we ought to do.
Write a note and leave on the saddle.
Lad with his ticket book.
Oh, I wouldn't do it. I'd walk around like, hey, we got a problem here.
We've talked about doing, have you seen that Impractical Jokers show?
Yeah.
Should we tell them about this?
We've talked about doing that in the horse world. I think it'd be hilarious. Not to give our idea away, but it'd be dang fun.
It would
Someone
be
does
good.
it. We came up with that first.
Yeah. Trademarked. Let's talk about riding. I don't want to say riding donkeys, but riding outside horses. I mean, especially when a guy gets started, like, you take anything and everything that'll pay the bills. So where you're at now, are you picky about them? Which I think you
Yeah,
should be. I
back-
think a guy should be. But what
Back
do you?
when I first started, just on the way down here, I was thinking about the horsepower I got now. And I've always had probably 15 head of horses in training. And when I first started, I probably had 2 that were like, oh, I really like to ride this one. And now I can only think of like 1 at the house, that I don't.
Like being
That I don't even like.
Yeah.
He's good still, but he's just not as good as the other ones. But he's way better than the ones that I used to ride.
Yeah.
So, like, I can't complain anymore because I enjoy every bit of it.
Yeah. If you were to give advice, because there's a lot of people that send horses to trainers. So a lot of people don't have the know-how, don't have the time to do it. What would be, if you were getting an outside horse, what criteria do you like for that horse to have, or what criteria if that horse, what things does that horse have, if he has those, that you say, not happening, I'm not taking that horse?
It's hard to say. Like, you definitely don't want to be taking, like, the spoiled ones or the ones that buck and things like that. But you always want to take the better one, the one that's broker, My advice would be to just, like, put some training into it, don't just expect a 30-day job and take it home.
Yeah.
Just because you don't have the time
Yeah.
to put the 30 days on there. Like the horse trainers are training horses because they're good at it, or they're better than some people at it, and
Yeah.
let them put time into it. It's $1,000 a month or whatever they charge, but when you get it back, I feel like it should be worth.
Money well spent.
Yeah, that's why I stay awake at nights and don't sleep, because if I'm not doing a good enough job for them, I feel like I'm stealing.
Yeah.
I'll come right out and tell you, if I come to a spot with your horse where like he's not progressing and things like that, I'm not going to say, hey, leave him another month, and then, hey, leave him another month, and leave him another month. I'd like to say, come up and watch him go, and you ride him, and you tell me if you want to go another month.
Yeah.
Not keep going until you absolutely, hey, this horse learned nothing, but thanks, you had him here for a year.
Yeah.
Because there are horses that they don't fit programs, or
Yeah.
they don't fit into roping, or they don't fit into the cow horse, or they don't fit different areas. But everybody always has their expectation for the horse. And you got to be willing to say, hey, this horse, he don't like to do this, but he likes to do this. Or, maybe this guy can do a little better than me, or maybe his program's better than mine for this horse. So he's got to be honest right there. And like I said, I just feel like I'm stealing if I just keep lugging him along and
Without any progress.
Yeah, there's no progress. I did it just the other day. I said, hey, just come watch this horse and just see. And he was happy. He said, oh yeah, you're doing great, leave him there. And that's another thing too, is you see the horse every day, and sometimes you don't realize that he's on an upward motion to getting better, where the owner, he didn't see it for the last 3 months.
Yeah. He
gets there and he thinks it's outstanding, because some of them go way up real quick, and then they kind of taper off, and then they're still learning, but they're not. And then some of them have a slow start and take off. Horses are like people. They you can be riding LeBron James sometimes, or you can be riding
Yeah.
Peter Griffin off of Family Guy. Wants to just stay in his trail and watch you throw him some hay.
That was a good one. That was a good one.
I was thinking of what basketball player you
I did too. I was getting interested. Like, yes.
Yeah.
Peter Griffin. That was the best comparison I've heard in a while.
A few months ago, we had a horse that I've always thought, every time I look at him, he's kind of a big, fat horse, and I've always thought, you're Peter Griffin, because like every time you go to catch him, he just like goes in the back of his corral. He's just like, oh man, not again.
Not today,
But
Lois.
if you're coming up to him with some hay, he's the first one to whinny at you, and they're like, me,
That's awesome.
we're here.
Oh, that's great.
And I think that's good for people to hear that, because if maybe they got that horse as a gift, or as some sentimental deal, well, we had the mom forever, now we have the colt, and they're thinking that horse is going to be able to be in the reiners, cutters, or something. But
This horse's great granddad won $20,000.
and that means he's going to do this now. But
Yeah.
I think some people need to realize that that horse might not fit that program. And
Yeah.
do you think
You can have full siblings of world champions that are duds.
Yep.
That
That takes the sales out of probably a lot of people, but at least, you got to be honest with them.
Yeah, for sure. Like I come across a lot of horses that I will send home and tell the guy, hey, if you can find somebody that day works or things, this horse would be way better if you sent it to him for
Let them ride the feedlot or something all day,
3 or
every
4
day.
months,
Yeah.
and then send it here.
Yeah.
Because some horses can take the training, I'll get on one, maybe sometimes 20 minutes, sometimes an hour, but some of them need 8 hours a day for 3 months,
Yeah.
and if I got one of those in my program, you can't ever
can't
find
do
him.
that.
You can't get to the bottom of him.
Yeah.
And like some colts, you get on them for 20 minutes and you got that colt spent.
Yeah.
You might even get on him for 10.
Yeah.
And he's learned enough that you get off.
Yeah.
And then some of them, you got to lope for 10 minutes before you find the horse, or lope for 20 minutes before you find what you got to work with. And
Yeah, and some of them don't have the minds to go more than just 10 minutes.
Some
and
of
it
them you
might
can-
be 3 times a day, but only 10 minutes at a time.
yeah,
And
some of them you can 2 a day
that's
and
all
get
he can take.
further along. And
Yeah.
some are 3 days a week, some are 6 days a week, some are 7.
Yep.
You know, they're like people more
Yeah.
than anything.
We didn't warn you.
Hello.
The air horn is the giveaway. We might have to suspend the air horn.
Yes.
We're going to give some stuff away. Who's our winner, Bryce?
Let me find this question. Joshua Bazan.
I'm leaving that to you. I'm not trying it.
One of those 3 had to have been it.
Okay.
He has a question. We'll answer it after.
Okay. Ready?
Go for it. Yep.
Grooming gloves.
Perfect.
Ooh,
Joshua?
Nice.
Yes.
Good time of year.
Have you used the grooming gloves?
No.
Well, you're getting
What
a
is a
set.
grooming glove?
Oh, I'm excited.
It's a good time of year for them.
Has it got a brush for a glove?
It's a glove that's got bristles on it, but they're soft silicone bristles. It's the greatest thing ever. Lather it up in shampoo. Like when we wash them, granted you're too cold to shampoo and wash them right now, other than other days, but if you're washing the body, washing the face, legs, everything, use that, lather it up. They're easy to rinse off. They get deep. The reason I like them is like when you shampoo a horse, unless you're using bristles or some type of brush, you're not getting down to the skin, which if you get the dirt off the top layer, great, but that dirt and debris that's under the skin that causes that irritation, causes them to rub, causes sores, especially up in the cinch area down on their legs. If you keep boots on them, we use them all the time. In the summer, if they're not nasty and we just need to brush them, I use that grooming glove because it's that silicone type rubber material. It's static. I don't know if it's positive or negative. I don't understand the science of that, but you brush over them and that dust just clings to it. It's great. It's safe on their eyes, safe on their ears, everything. So Joshua, you said, right? Joshua, you're getting a set. DM us. Don't put it in the comments. You'll get some stalkers. Put it in a direct message to us, your shipping info, and we'll get it sent. We're going to send you with some grooming gloves.
Crazy
One
part is
for
you're
my
only
shower.
crazy part.
Yeah.
Hoofa. Is that what we called last week? Was a hoofa?
I think it's really called a loofah. You know that, right?
No, but
Is
if
that
a
the-
horse.
For a horse, it's a
Is that the
hoofa.
puffy thing?
Yeah, the loofah's the puffy thing.
Those things suck.
What?
They suck.
You're not washing the right areas with it.
It exfoliates.
I'm gonna try a grooming glove.
Yeah, it'd be great.
What's crazy though is you won't be able to use that till spring because it's 40 minutes away from Cedar to St. George. It's like if anyone's watched Beauty and the Beast, it goes there at the castle where it's snow. Then you come down to St. George and it's just blue skies.
And
And
you're right there in
Not
the.
today.
Not
Cold
today.
It was like
It's like
25 mile an hour winds up there from the north, and I get here and it's only like 15 mile an hour winds from the north. Not much.
but it's still blowing.
it's a little colder day, but usually
It was miserable up there today, but
It's not much
It's not
better.
very
here now.
warm
You
out
brought
there.
the storm down with you.
no.
Do you feel like clients' expectations are always too high, or does it
No.
vary from clients?
It varies from clients.
What would you give as? I think I kind of know the answer, but I want you to highlight it. What do you give advice? And I know it's horse specific, but if someone brings you a broke horse, like let's say one that's got a good handle, not necessarily reiner, fancy, but they got a handle. They're soft in the face. You can move all their body parts how you want. They're not a dink. They're not a runoff, but they want to get them into roping. What would you say on average? Because I know some horses are better than others, but on average, what do you, in order to show that client some live runs on, say, slow cattle, what do you typically
I'll start.
say is the time frame?
I usually ride them the first 30 days. That's as far as steer stopping, logging, lead steering, roping the dummy. Maybe some slow cows. Riding them if I feel like they just need road. More started brokeness, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And just making sure they got the
first
mind
30
to take
days
it.
for sure. Like
Yeah.
I rarely get one that can just go right to roping without the lead steer and the things like
Yeah.
that. But like 60 days, I can probably show you some good slow runs and, yeah, probably be about 45 to 60 days. That's good slow runs.
Yeah.
No expectations, they're still walking out of the box and, they're not facing and they're, you might throw your heel rope and they don't stop. Just things like that. But the better the foundation you put on them that's everything in a horse. If it's slow and you make it solid, you build up from there.
Yeah.
I have to watch myself and because you get a good one in training that's really broke, been through some programs, reining, cow horse, whatever programs, real broke, and they take to it
So quick and so easy
that the natural person wants to just
keep going.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But them are the ones that you have to make yourself stay slow and still go through the same motions.
Yeah.
Don't get caught going too fast with them, because you'll hit at the end of later on, you'll hit a spot where
it's too much.
You did too much right there.
Those ones blow up pretty quick, huh?
Yeah, and
it wasn't fair to them.
Yeah.
Like they might have been, it's like having a kid in a class that's extremely smart and intelligent, like a genius type kid. Well, he's still just a kid.
Yeah.
Like he's still got to go through, he might understand and comprehend information a lot faster and a lot better and more fully than the other kids, but at the same time, he's still just a kid and has to mature up the same way other kids do.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
With the horses. Like you might have one that's just a freak, a phenomenal prospect, something that just, like you said,
that goes
within
quick.
a month you could be making runs and feeling like, my gosh, we could haul this horse. But it's not fair to him too, because he's still got to mature and progress, go through it. And I think that you see that a lot, not to go on a tangent, but I think you see that a lot with the ones that come out of discipline specific programs and were in those programs for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you were to get a 2-year-old out of a reining program that had 90 days, 120 days of reining versus getting a 4-year-old out of a reining program that's had 2-3 years of reining, like that horse has been, that one that's been in training for multiple years, he's been in some stressful situations. He's been pounded on. I shouldn't say pounded on, but he's had intense training to where he's got a lot more mature mind. His maneuvers are better.
Mm-hmm.
But still, and so he's going to take to, if you convert him to a rope horse, he's going to take to that a lot quicker. But like you said, you've got to still just go
slow.
Just check
The
every
wheels.
mark on the list.
Everybody-
Otherwise, the wheels will eventually fall off.
Yep.
Everybody wants their horse now, they want it quick, and that's why sometimes I think they give you a 60-day or expectation or 90-day expectation of, I want this horse ready to rock and roll, but the horse is what's telling you whether he's ready or not.
Yeah, and that's why I asked that question at the beginning. What do you think the expectations are from clients?
Yeah.
Because like they come in saying, hey, if I leave him with you for 90 days, if I hear $1,000 a month, I'm $3,000 deep into this thing. He cost me $20,000 to buy.
Yeah.
I'm into him 23. I should be able to be hauling him. Well,
If you're going to spend $20,000 on a horse, you should be able to put another $5,000 into making him the horse.
exactly. Yep.
And just making him turn out. You already have so much money invested in him. Why would we rush the program to not get
The best end result.
the best end result for
Yeah.
him?
Do you see kind of a time deal on that, where there's like a time of year where they want that you're getting horses because jackpots are coming up pretty quick in rodeos, and they want those horses to be tuned up and ready to roll? Or do you think
Yeah,
it's
a lot of like starting November, guys will send you their horse so that they can have him by summer, or people will send one in spring so that you can put 60 days on it and they can go at him by summer. And that's I just try to be honest again right there, what the horse is ready for.
Mm-hmm.
If I think he's going to take longer, I'll tell him. And if I send him home and they just want to have a good start on him and go slow with him, that's fine. But I've make sure that someone knows that this horse, if you go to the roping, this horse
Ain't gonna work.
ain't gonna work.
Yeah.
But if you want to I got him to a point where you can practice on him and show him the runs, and he can get a feel for you, and you can get a feel for him. And as he matures, he's ready to, mentally and physically, he'll just get better.
Yeah.
You always like to send them horses home with that good solid foundation that's not going to move too much.
Yeah.
And sometimes it takes longer to get it on them than anything.
Yeah.
And then because the horse fits people like a glove, I guess. They have to adapt. The horse ain't going to work the same for me as it's going to work for you or you. And it takes people a few months or, a lot of sometimes I'll send horses home and it'll work so good for me, and then people will have a little bit of a hard few weeks with it, and I'll say, just keep riding him. He's confused.
Mm-hmm.
We know what we want, but he's not sure what you want. He knows what I want. So you just kind of have to keep riding him until he learns to mold to you.
Yeah. I think that's a great point.
Going back to the topic on colts and that you train them every now and then, someone had a question. How would you focus on building muscle onto a colt?
The right feed program and riding them. Definitely not riding them too much. That only makes them leaner. And if you get too much acid and things in their muscles, they break down and they look poor. It's like when you go to the gym, you don't just go as hard as you can every single day and take every ounce of energy out of you. You have to build up to certain things. Obviously I don't go to the gym, but you kind of work up to.
You look like you do.
Your max. You hit your max, and then you drop back down, right? And then you work back up. Same thing with a horse, but if you just pound and pound and pound and grind and pound, pretty soon you can't get enough feed into them to make them grow, and their mind also isn't there. They go into this survival mode of, what's this guy gonna do next?
Yeah.
They sit in their corrals and get nervous and worry and things like that. So, you definitely have to have a good nutrition and good feed put to them, and riding them what they need to do, and kind of, I'd say riding a colt 4 to 5 days a week for half hour, an hour is about right, depending on what you're doing. If you're going for a trail ride, you can go for longer than that. But if you're kind of slaving on him a little bit and pounding on him and trying to get him to do certain things, you got about a half hour to 45 minutes a day,
They'll get to where they start hating it too. They'll associate the arena or whatever with that.
Yeah, if they hate it, it's over.
That's a really good question.
Yeah, it is.
About putting muscle. Not a lot of people ask that about the horse.
And what was I going to say? I see a lot of horses. I lost it all. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Well,
You see that a lot. That's a good point in
Yeah.
overdoing them. I think that's something a lot of guys don't consider. It's like you're riding the guts out of them and thinking you're feeding them all right. Well, they are only going to eat so much, and there's only so much nutrition in that if they're burning off more than that's how you lose weight. That's how you really get lean, is working harder than what you're putting in your body.
Yeah.
Burning off more than you're putting in, and you can easily do that on a horse.
Yeah, and sometimes if you get to riding a colt or just a horse in general, something will spark and they'll just start growing like a weed, and if you don't work them, they just stay small. And if you've ever seen a person that don't get out much or don't do a whole lot, they stay small, but the second they get a job and go do things, they start to get kind of some tone and things in
Their
them.
body kind of adapts to the workload.
Yeah, and that's what a colt is. But some colts are also late starters too. Like
Yeah.
I still have a mare at the house that's 6, and she's just barely getting to growing, you know. And I have a 2-year-old up there that looks like a tank
Yeah.
and built like a Twinkie, you know. I got to ride that off of him.
Yeah.
So
So would you prefer to get a colt and, you know, practice on him while he's young, or would you rather get a broke horse as he's older and, you know, kind of jump in there?
Yeah. What's kind of? I think that's kind of personal preference
for my
what's
rope
more-
horses?
More rewarding for you. Do you like getting one that you start yourself and take through the ranks, or do you like maybe getting one from a program that's?
depends on the program, depends on who wrote it.
Yeah, that's true.
There's some people that if you send it them first, there's some people that like I don't really want to ride my horse before I ride it. But there's also some people that I think, yeah, if I can get one from him, it's got everything I need.
Yeah.
Best guys in the world have other guys that they send horses to get them ready for
Yep.
That's exactly
for them.
right. Yeah.
Even Trevor Brazil has Larry D. Guy do some of
Yeah, or Miles Baker.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Miles
or
is starting their young stuff, and,
You know,
and I'm sure Miles
the same.
sends some to somebody else. The stuff that he.
Yeah, JD Yates has Brandon Butters. The same feel, you know. There's guys with the same feel as me, and there's guys with the same feel as you, and there's guys with the same feel as you, and maybe you like the way they get them broke, and maybe I like the way they do a lot of ranch work on them, get them broke. Maybe you like the way they do it their way.
yep.
But I do like to get a colt and bring it all the way up because I know what I want in the end, so I can start at the bottom and work towards what I want.
And you know, no steps have been skipped through the process.
I have quite a few that do that come when they're 2 and they stay till they're 4 or 5.
That's cool.
Then when you're selling the product, you don't have to say, well, this guy had him into this. You could actually go through the whole from.
And I know exactly what he's going to do too. If he's got something wrong with him, it's my fault,
Yeah.
not someone else's. And another thing too is if somebody has rode the horse before you, you have to break that horse all the way back down, and then you have to bring him up.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than taking him from 0 to 100. You have to go from 100 back to 0, back to 100.
Yeah.
So, if you just have some good guys ride your horses, I guess is what I'm trying to get at.
These horses,
like,
yeah,
it's
they-
easier said than done, but
And those horses that you see getting bought and sold for, like, passed down, those horses go through the ringer.
if you follow their history and see who they go through,
Mm-hmm.
you know they're going through from a great 2-year-old guy to a great reining program to like the one that they won the Hill Horse Futurity on last year. He was
The sorrel horse.
The sorrel horse, yeah. He worked on a ranch and things like that, and he was kind of a cow horse a little bit, and then he went to Dakota. Dakota rode him and showed him, and then he went to Trevor and Miles, and they did what they do. They rope and then they ranch and they do their thing on him, and then Joseph showed him, and so that horse right there went through.
5 or 6 guys.
Yeah, that's the only the people we know of.
Yeah.
You can follow them horses, them ones that win. You can go online and see
Where they been?
what sales they were bought out of, and see who bought them, and then see who
Who's riding for those?
sent them
guys.
over here, and see, oh, he won something over here in the reining. Oh wait, and then he went through another sale, and someone else bought him,
Mm-hmm.
and then now he's doing this. Like,
That's the fun part.
Yeah, you can see why those horses cost so much because.
yeah,
Oh yeah, they got so much invested in them.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and to nowadays, the more you spend on a horse, like you're getting more horse.
Yeah. It's kind of catching up with it.
Yeah. Yeah, you buy a $100,000 horse. Unless you got screwed, you get
You're
a
getting a
$100,000
$100,000
horse, you
yeah.
know. You buy a $5 horse, where are we getting $5 horse?
Sophia Barrow on Facebook, she wants to know, she said when she tries to get on her horse, the horse knows and it starts to walk away. So is there a way to get it to stay and not to walk away until she's on?
Trainer tip.
Oh,
Let's hear it.
I don't. Yeah, I just make sure I hold the reins when I get on, and I'm not very good about that myself. But like
That's
with
my pet peeve. I hate it.
with my colts, we always start from day one. You don't walk off.
Yeah.
Like on a lot of my colts, we'll have depending on how good or how bad they are, but like we'll put a rope on their back leg or whatever, and I'll teach them to stop off that rope. When I say whoa, and pull that rope, he'll stop, and I teach him to relax, and so that from day one, when I go to get on him,
He's expecting to
yeah, my dad's back there, if he walks off, pulls the rope, and he stops. But I just, like, if you got to put him up against the fence and make sure you hold on to your reins, and sometimes I'll, if they go to walk off, I'll back them up, and they go to walk off, I'll back them up, and they go to walk off, I'll back them up, and then I'll get on and maybe put a leg up there, and if he walks off, back him up, and put a leg up there again. If he walks off, back him up. And eventually he's going to think, man, I'm sick of this backing up, and I'm just going to stand here.
Yeah.
If they bolt, that's kind of a different story. There's a lot of...
Get on that horse where there's no public.
I would say that there's, like, the more you can prevent it, the better. Maybe have someone hold it while you get on for a while, and I'm sure it'll get better.
Yeah. You just got to be consistent.
Yeah, you just got to be consistent with what you're doing.
They're creatures of habit.
Don't just swing on when he goes to run off and expect him not to do it next time.
Yeah, that's one of my biggest pet peeves. I'll throw in what I do, like what you do, and I'll throw in what I do, because I go to get on if one wants to walk off.
I always have if I see it happening, Nicole, I just have a little smile because I know.
Because he knows it just that irritates the heck out of me. That, and once I get on, if they start to walk off, that's a pet peeve of mine too. Like, you don't go until I physically ask you to go. Like, when I swing on, we're going to sit there. And I'll do that on young horses. I'll do it on all of them if I feel like they're going to walk off. But even on young ones, swing on, sit there. Count to 10, count to 20, and then ask them to walk off.
A lot of one rein stops. I teach them at the first,
Yeah.
That when I pull your nose to me while I'm getting on, don't move.
Yeah.
And when I get on, I'll pull him left, I'll pull him right, I'll pull him left, I'll pull him right. And loosen, like, it's loosening him. If his body's loose, his nerves he's not thinking about being nervous.
Yeah.
So he just needs to stand there the whole time while I bend him around. And eventually they think, oh, when this guy gets on, he's just going to bend me around and make me stand here. So I'll just stand here and wait for him to do that. And then after he's done, he just puts his hand down and sits here.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of ways to go around that.
Yeah. No, I think that's great advice. You do that, like, even in a rope run. One of the best rewards you can give a horse is to let him just sit still and breathe.
Yeah.
Like, horse makes a good run, horse does something good, pitch the reins to him. Let him sit there and think on it. Wait on him till he puts his head down. Let him lick his chops. Let him take a deep breath and realize that that was good.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Not just pick on him. You got to show him a reward.
And I work on it a lot. If they have a problem with getting on and getting off, I might get on them things 20 times.
Exactly. Yeah, that might be what your 30-minute ride on that horse is.
But I might take them out and get them tired, because a tired horse definitely thinks a little better.
Yeah.
And maybe get him tired, and then work on it so that he's thinking he's thinking his reward is you getting off and on, and if he lets you get off and on, he gets to stand and breathe,
Yeah.
So I'll take him for, if it's one of my young ones or whatever, I'll take him for a trail ride, or I'll lope him around for a while. And when he's tired and he's saying, can I please stand here, I'll work on it.
Yeah.
And then if he wants to not stand there anymore, we'll go do something.
Go wear him out a little
Go
more.
again, and then when he's saying, can I stand here, we'll get on and off. And it's just like Clinton Anderson's big in teaching them that when they're tired, work with their feet. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
They'll learn to love you to work with their feet if they get to stand there and breathe.
Yeah. Work their butt off.
Yeah.
And when they're standing there breathing, sweating, just catching air,
Yeah, and if you're nervous about getting on him the first time, maybe lunge him
lunge him till he's sweaty.
Yeah, till he's a little bit
You're not gonna
tired, and
hurt
when
him.
he's breathing, let's work on it.
Yeah. That was just the other day. We had a new horse at the place, and I went to saddle her, and she wasn't having any of it. I mean, on the wash rack, pushing, pulling, not hanging back, scary, but just dumb. Just not wanting to hold still, stand there just to be saddled. So I took her out in the arena, got on a long lunge line, and I just lunged her until she got, you saw her head start getting lower. She was getting tired. Asked her to stop, walked her up to the wash rack, and before she could even catch her breath, she's sitting there panting and tired and sweating. Threw the saddle on her. Yeah. Pulled it off, threw the saddle on her 5 or 6 times. I didn't even ride her. That was the lesson for the day because I had already wore her out. Her mind would have been frazzled if I would have asked her for any more. And that was the lesson for the day. She got exercised, and she learned that if you don't stand still, you're going to get worked. Yeah. And they want to stand still.
And horses are always looking for the release anyway.
Exactly.
So if you show them that getting saddled is the release, then
they're going to crave it.
Saddled.
Yeah. Yep. No, that was great advice. I like the question deal. If we have more questions, let's go with that.
Yeah, I got another one. Let's do a giveaway.
Okay.
This is for Lisa Burrows.
No horn this time.
No horn this time, yeah. Lisa Burrows. Conditioner. Comes in a 2-pack. So, Lisa, DM us your info. We're going to ship it to you. If you guys haven't used our conditioner, it's fine. I'm not offended.
It's good stuff.
I usually kind of take it personally, but it's, granted, you used it?
Yeah, I've used it.
Talk about our conditioner so I'm not the biased one. What do you like about it?
I don't know. It's like the other day I just put it in one that was, I didn't even wash him off because it was really cold. And I was able to just condition it up and it was fine.
Have you noticed the difference?
I'm not too big into grooming and things. I usually
you got a gal that
does
does your grooming,
yeah,
and we do too anymore because we got so many. What I like about the conditioner is it honestly works real similar to what the detangler does.
Or maybe it was a detangler I used.
I think we got you some detangler.
Yeah, it was a detangler I used.
I think we got you detangler. But the conditioner, it's a leave-in conditioner. If you're not big on leave-in conditioners, you don't have to leave it in. But it's formulated to be left in.
Yeah, it was a detangler.
And the detangler is too. But on a tail, like for us, today might not be too cold, but the past few days have been too cold to wash them. But we still redo the tails every day. I mean, every Monday or Tuesday, once a week, we redo the tails. We'll get them out of the tail bag, take the braids out, brush them, re-braid them, and then we soak them in the conditioner. Put it in the tail bag, and in a week's time, when you pull that tail out of that tail bag, it's soft, it's full, it's supple. The quality of that tail feels so much better than if you not using a conditioner at all, but even more so than using other conditioners on the market. Ours really, really penetrates that hair and keeps a soft, supple tail. Again, I'm biased, I know. But I like the stuff. Okay, what was our question?
She asks, how do you prepare a horse that is super hot, that has lots of energy? Sorry, I got another question and bumped it off. Has a lot of energy in speed, and how do you prep that for training? Do you get on and lope the energy off, or do you do groundwork?
That's a hard one. I always think a horse that's hot with a lot of energy is always gonna have that. Them are the ones I try to go slow on. You need to be slower than your horse all the time. So you got to take more time with the ones that are hot.
They're just kind of more fragile-minded.
Yeah, they're fragile-minded. They like loping them sometimes only gets them hotter too. Mm-hmm. I try to do things that relax their mind. I'm big on my rope horses and my cow horses getting on the trail. Sometimes I think a lot of hot-minded horses are man-made too.
Yeah.
That we teach them to be hot-minded because they are pounded on, and they don't like what they're doing.
Prime example, like we were talking before about that Mabel dog. The only thing she's good to me for is eating a cow that's being ignorant, won't go in on the fight. Well, that's all I've used her for the past month. So every time she gets out of her kennel, that's what is ingrained in her mind is I'm going to go eat this cow, and when I'm done, I get put away. And I think we do that on horses too, especially the ones that are hot. If we don't go slow and we don't change it up and give them a good, quiet routine, if you get, and that's how I think you make a horse like that is if every time you get on them, it's boom, boom, boom.
So their habit
and
and
put 'em
routine,
away.
huh?
I hate loping a horse down because they only get more in shape, and pretty soon you're loping him more.
Yeah.
You know, you have to mentally get to that one, and you have to mentally prepare that one.
Yeah.
So the more things, the reason he's hot is because his mind. It's
not because his muscles are going
so
100 miles an
you
hour.
gotta
It's his-
slow this down.
it's his
so
mind.
I'll do a pretty good different warm up for him as far as pulling him around or stopping him or doing different things. But I won't just get on and just lope and lope and lope and lope until his legs are wobbling and his mind's still going 100, but he physically can't.
What does give out?
I got one at the house right now. He's hot all the time, and I'll go out and I'll turn some cows out in the arena, and I'll let him chase them cows around for a while, or we'll go on a trail ride, or we'll go on a trail ride and then chase cows, and then we'll rope 3 or 4 cows, or just things that make that mind quit thinking about what's gonna happen next.
Yeah. Do you try to ride those ones last? Let them sit there at the tie rack a little bit longer ever?
I'll tie them up and things like that too, but I'm just I love a horse if you've I love a horse that has been on the ranch, one that knows a job, that's how to do a job, that if you got to rope a cow, he knows how to hold it, or if you got to get a gate, he knows how to do that, or if you got to go clear over there, he'll do that, or go all day, you know. So I try to relate that to them wilder-minded horses and getting them calmed down. When you get a ranch horse, they're rarely ever just wound up messes.
Yeah.
They are mentally prepared.
Yeah.
And to me, a horse that's hot and wound up, they just need to mentally mature. And so I do all sorts of things like that. Weird things. Just anything I can think of, like go out and catch horses on them, or flag a colt and round trail on them, and then we'll go rope a cow, and we'll go doctor some cows out on the pasture. I got quite a few guys that I'll go and day work, or I wouldn't call it day work because I don't get paid, but I go with them a lot, and them are the horses I take that go and do different things, and get them not just thinking about that one thing.
Yeah.
The one I have right now, he's just been beat and put in, someone's just wanted this pattern in him to where he's kind of just, oh no.
Yeah.
And he's afraid that I'm going to do that to him. So chilling him out is what I do. I'll go check the cows on him, see if anything's calved, or I'll go let the cows in and lead steer for a while, or we'll pen rope, and then finally when he's tired and thinking, we'll run a few steers on him. He'll do good. I'll put him away. Pretty soon he's thinking that, hey, that running steers is
It's kind of the reward at the end of
not
the day.
so bad right there. That's easy.
Yeah.
And it's working.
Yeah.
But it's dang sure taking its time.
Yeah. That's great advice.
How would you prepare to send, I guess, this guy has a horse he's sending to a trainer this summer, and how would he prepare them for that?
Depends on what it's going into. Does he say what it's going into?
He doesn't say. He just says, I'm sure he'll comment in a minute, but He just says he's going to the trainer in the summer, and how would he prepare?
Pretend he's coming to you. What do you want coming to you?
Well, if he's a 2-year-old, I like him friendly,
Yeah.
you know. But I also like him the right friendly.
Yeah. Not you like them in your pocket, but not trying to eat in your pocket.
Yeah, I don't want one that's gonna just freak out and kill me. And if you send one to a trainer with a good foundation or like that, if he's a 2-year-old and he's friendly, and the trainer can go to doing right what he needs to do, which is you pay him to ride the horse, get him to the point where he can easily go ride the horse, or just to the point where he can saddle it and go do his thing. Because if you send it to the trainer and he's never even seen a person, and you loaded him in some funnel up through a trailer and probably going to kill you when he gets out, that guy's got to spend however long it takes for him to get to the point to ride him. And, you know, if it takes 30 days to do that, well, you paid for 30 days of not riding, you know. So if he's gentle and you're getting your best, that's where you'll get your money's worth out of him.
Yeah.
If he's a rope horse, just get him broke. And same thing, they just got to be calm and things like that. I don't necessarily like people to do a whole lot with my rope horses. I like them to do a little bit, but I feel like there's so much that I try to put into them at first that, like we said earlier, if he's started wrong, I have to go break him all the way down and come back up, you know. So I just like him broke good.
Yeah.
So he said it's a 3-year-old barrel prospect.
Yeah, just get him broke and get him
where someone can get on him and put them where they need to be.
And you know he's going to be a barrel horse. Barrel horses always have the tendency to be hot or
they're under a lot of stress.
Yeah, maybe get him out teach him to go out and get rode and things like that, and teach him to relax, and then you can make him a good barrel horse.
I think that's a good point. I think you can teach a horse to relax.
Yeah.
I think you can teach a horse you can put him in a stressful situation, and you can teach him that it's okay, and that it's good. You know, you stress them out, you ask them for too much, their mind starts to get frazzled, the wheels are about to fall off, and then you show them how to come back from that.
Yeah.
Like a kid having a nightmare. Their mind's boggled, they're scared to death, and you teach them how to come back and relax and think good thoughts, think good happy thoughts. I use that analogy because it happened last night with my little guy. You teach him how to realize that everything's going to be okay. Everything's good. You were scared, I get it. You're good now. I think you can train that into a horse.
I start a ton of barrel horses or prospects for barrel trainers. Like I'm probably not gonna do your barrel horse because that's just not me. But I do
starting them.
I do a ton of barrel prospects, by just getting them broke. If people will drop one off and say, hey, this one's gonna go to the barrels, I kind of know what they need to do the barrels. I don't know how to do the barrels, but I got a guy that drops one off and says, don't turn a barrel on it. Don't. Because we do that ourselves. So I won't. I just get him prepared and broke enough and get his mind to where when he gets him, the day that he gets him, he can go right to the barrel trainer.
Cool.
Do you get a lot of clients, or hope you get a lot of clients that come to you and say, hey, I'm going to bring you this horse. What do you want me to do on him before I bring him to you? Or is it more of a deal where they just have a horse and drop him off and say, good luck?
A little bit of everything.
Because that's a good question. If a guy's going to send him a trainer, at least he's doing his due diligence, trying to.
Yeah, I always like a guy to have one prepared for me for sure.
Like I'm sending you this one, and this summer I'm going to be sending you one. I want him to be a head horse.
Yeah.
What can I do between now and then?
Yeah, I just say ride him and get him broke, and
that's the way people need to approach it.
Chase some cows around and things like that. I don't really like when people bring one and have turned steers on it.
Yeah.
Because you got to take out of them what's wrong and put it back into them. It takes that extra time. But if they've been around a cow and chased a cow and, had a rope swung on it, that's another big thing. If they've never had a rope swung on, it might take them 2 weeks before they actually
feel okay
can think chase cow while rope swinging, not run past cow and swing rope. So that little things like that always works. Maybe get them around the chutes, or maybe run the cows up, or go to the roping on them even.
Expose them
We're
to
going
some stuff.
to one tonight. I'm going to go flag on some colts and just let them hear the sounds of it and be in the environment. I'm lucky enough that every single day I go rope, there's at least 3 of us there a day, and there's a lot going on. So
Yeah, Casey roping the horse's back legs.
yeah,
Always something.
yeah, Casey. So they get prepared pretty good to go places just from being here. Like, I haul my rope horses every single day somewhere. And when we get to the house, when we're back to the house, because it's winter now, I can't ride it outdoors now. We're in the barn, but when I get back to the house, it's the same deal. People come over, and there's a lot going on, and if they can't handle that stuff going on, they have to get over all this stuff over here before they can learn what we got going on, what we're supposed to do.
That's a great point. Like, you've got some reiners before, or some cutters. I'm mainly going to touch on reiners because that's the ones I've got that have had this problem. They come from all they know from when they were started until I got them as a 2 coming 3-year-old or 3 coming 4-year-old is running circles and running down and stopping in a tight little small barn. And you get them out in an outdoor arena with stalls in the arena and cows, and all of a sudden they're just,
look over there.
What? Yeah, bird. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a mind boggle for them, where it would have been so easy to ride that horse outside a little more, tie him outside, haul him to the show, and let him stand at the trailer. Like, that's on all our colts, and I know you do the same. You take them everywhere.
And some of them is doing nothing is better than doing something.
Yeah.
I've had them before where they're, say it's a blowed up cutter, or not even a blowed up cutter, just a cutter in general that has been cut on every single day and went through a process, and they couldn't get along with him because all he's ever done is cut and cut and cut and cut and then cut some more, and he don't really like it, but they keep cutting, and that's what makes that horse that's, and he's hot and
he's hated his job and had to do it regardless.
So then, they say, oh yeah, we'll just run barrels on this one, and now it's barrels.
Yeah.
And now he hates cutting and doesn't really like the barrels either, because it's the same setup. I'm just getting picked on over here. Like one that I've had recently, I just put my hand down and go for a little trail ride for 2 weeks before I ever went to lead steering or roping the dummy on it. We just went for a ride, and I will guarantee that horse is, in those 2 weeks of doing absolutely nothing on him, is better than he has been for a lot of people for as many years as he's been rode. Like, he is gentle and he's ready to learn now, and now we can go to lead steering and he's going to take it every ounce of it in.
Yeah.
And then we can go to the dummy, and then we can go to the steers. And when he starts to feel like it's a beat down process again, we'll go do nothing.
Yeah.
We'll go for a little ride.
Yeah.
Hopefully that makes sense, because the nothing for us, that makes sense. It's like, no, that needs to happen.
Yeah, not nothing.
Yeah,
like leave him in
he's
their
not
pen
sitting
and
in his
not
pen
do
and not
nothing.
doing anything,
Right. We're just going on a
You're
ride.
not asking him for anything. It's like, you just got to be a horse today.
And he
We're
has
just gonna-
never been out before. When I get on him, first time I ever rode him, I'm like, I'm going to take him out. And I got a great place to go out. Like, it's like an arena with trees and washes and sagebrush. The sand's that deep out there, and it's great. So I thought, I'm going to take him out there and go ride. And so we go for a little ride, and I'm riding, and he's just, what is going on out in this arena? This thing's weird. And a tree brushes up against him, and pretty soon I'm going, oh no. And I thought I was coming off, and he he's so quick-footed that he could step out from under you and you could lay there for a minute before you actually knew that he got you off.
Yeah.
And he's running, and pretty soon I get him shut down, and there's like some little places where some water runs, and we can't cross those, and there's some rocks, so we go around the rocks, and he can't figure that out. And after 2 weeks of that, and I didn't expect nothing other than, hey, let's ride over here. Hey, let's go over here. Let's go over here. And he's going to heal so good.
Cool.
But he thinks now about it.
Yeah.
Before, if I would have tried it 2 weeks ago, over the top of him.
Yeah.
We would have been dealing with a lot more problem than we got now.
Yeah.
And so I'll do that for a few days in the week until he starts feeling like he's like, I can't do this no more. We'll go do nothing.
Yeah.
And then after that, because they get bored of not doing anything, that go leave the trailer and go walk around and lope over here and look at these rocks and go over to this wash and go up and down that wash and go over here. They get bored of that, so they're pretty soon they're like, hey, I want to go back to work. We'll go back to work, teach him some things till he's sick of it, needs a vacation. We'll go out there and ride around.
Yeah.
And it turns him into a horse, I think.
Yeah.
My cow horses, that's what I do. And I ride them 5 to 6 days a week, but they go out once or twice. They get rained on, and then they mess around with cows. But cow horses are a little easier to keep their minds right, because once they get sick of raining, you go to messing around with a cow.
Like you say, they're like 3 event horses. You just switch the event and it's fresh.
Yeah. So once they get sick of the cow, you go to reining, or things like that. You can kind of keep their minds scattered enough that they don't just get balled up. But them other ones, you got to find different things for them to do.
Cool. Let's take another question and we'll get close to wrapping up, Bryce.
All right. Let's do this one. Tips for a horse that has a sore front left leg from being pushed too hard, and I only have one horse, and I have to ride for a 4-H thing. So I guess the question is just tips on the horse that has a sore front leg.
Man, I'd find out what the soreness is from.
Yeah, what is the soreness?
Yeah, I'll have.
Depends on what the soreness is. If it's coffin bones and joints
You
and
may
things,
not want to be using it for the 4-H.
4-H, you might need to get another one or lease one or borrow one or something. But because if you ride one that has bad problems and making them worse,
At a show.
you won't have a horse.
Yeah, especially at a show.
Basically.
That's not fun.
I mean, if they're showing lame and you take them to the show, you're
I'm
taking a losing horse.
Yeah, injections.
Yeah, I would
Injections
say
are big.
find the root of it, take him, get him x-rayed,
Yeah.
get him ultrasound, whatever you need to do. Find where the root of that problem is.
Yeah, I'm huge on
Treat it.
making sure every horse I ride is sound.
And comfortable.
Yeah. Their minds aren't like ours. Like, if my back hurts, I can think through that and go
Yeah.
to work.
They-
If their back hurts, that's the only thing they think about.
Yep.
And they ain't going to do good for you.
No. And so many people I feel are scared of injections. Oh, he needs injections. We got to get rid of him. No.
Yeah.
It's the same as, man, I don't know. It's like the same as taking some ibuprofen.
Yeah.
It's just longer lasting. You don't have to give it to them every single day. How many people
The
do you know
thing
take
with
a
an
pain
injection,
pill every day?
Yeah, like the horses that I take to the shows and stuff, they get rode so hard. They don't have time to
Recoup.
rebuild, you
Yeah.
know. Injections just help them to not get to that soreness.
Yeah.
And if you're showing them and things, you have to ride them.
Mhm.
There's no way around that.
yeah.
They have to get rode, not necessarily hard, but they got to get rode every single day, and they got to get
Extensively.
tuned on, and they got to learn to
They gotta
be
be
a
sharp.
machine
Yeah.
and be sharp about it.
Yeah.
And you can't teach one to be sharp and be a machine without
Being on them.
being on them.
Yeah.
And so, like, injections like that are gonna help him so that he feels good. I just got one done the other day. I healed on him. I give him 4 days off because they got to set in or I give him like a week off. They got to set in for a little while. And I healed on him yesterday, and I didn't realize how much better he was. He was so much better yesterday than he had been before. Not that he was sore before, but he had just probably been feeling like, hey,
A little uncomfortable.
yeah, we're going every day.
Yeah.
I'm a little sore. Just like me, I dang sure feel worse on Friday or Saturday than I do Monday. I always try to take Sunday off. I don't always get Sunday off, but that's for me.
Yeah. That's
'Cause
the recovery time, and they
yeah.
don't always get that.
Yeah, and if I didn't take this Sunday off, and I'm hurting, I'm waiting for next Sunday to get it off, But same thing with the horse. Like, go get a massage. Not your horse, but like I'll go get a massage or go to the chiropractor, or
Mm-hmm.
same thing with a horse. He can go to the chiropractor or get injected, or they got massages and things for horses nowadays too. But
Yeah, but like
I don't
what's
necessarily
it? Kelsey
say,
does that pull. There's that pulse thing that a lot of people are doing.
Yeah,
now.
there's laser
That's good
treatments. There's the
stuff.
electro treatments that are good. There's the injections. There's a chiropractic. Man, they've just got to be comfortable. You expect so much out of them, and
Turn them loose.
Yeah.
If you got a turnout spot for them, just turn them loose. Let them be a.
well, that, and you have high expectations, and your training schedule's rigorous and hard.
the bottom line of it is know why he's sore, and know what you're going to get yourself into if you keep riding him.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of horses be sore. Best head horse I've ever rode had a little bit of ring bone in his front, I think it's front left. It was my buddy's horse, best one I've ever been on. And he was sore every time you loped him around, and he kind of loped out of it, but you backed him in the box, and he loved his job so much, he wasn't sore.
Yeah.
But
He didn't care if he was sore. He's still going to do it.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it also didn't hurt him any worse to be a little sore, because he was so good about making sure he had this and give him this, and like
Treated him and took care of him.
he was so good to him
Yeah.
that it was okay.
Yep. Yep. So, like you said, find the root of the problem.
Yeah.
Find out how to treat it. And if you can't, because I understand sometimes people can't afford to treat certain issues. If you can't afford to treat it or don't want to treat it, understand fully what the repercussions are of that in the long term.
Yeah. And like, I just getting your sights set on something is the worst thing for a horse too, I think. Like, if you have to say, if we're trying to make it to this first rope horse show in March, and he's a little sore or he's a little behind, pushing him ain't going to do no better.
Exactly.
And you can create bigger problems with maybe a 2-year-old that isn't ready to get trained on, but he's got to go to the futurity in a year and a half or 2 years.
People have a ton of money invested in him. He's got to make it. And what if he's not ready?
Yeah.
He's still going to get thrown in, and he's either going to show terrible or they're going to last minute say, not happening.
And these shows where you're showing young horses is so hard on them.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them can take it.
Yeah.
Some of them are at 2 years old are big enough and big bone enough, and their joints are developed enough, and mentally they're ready.
Mm-hmm.
You can go to it. And some of them, you got things going on here and you got things going on here, but you got someone back here saying make sure he's ready, and you got someone
paying
here
you to
saying
make him
don't
ready.
ride him, you're going to hurt him. And who's the one?
Who do you
That's where
listen to?
trainers get caught up at is this guy, the owner's saying go at him, and maybe he feels like maybe not, but this guy's saying don't, and but we'll just inject him to help out with this. Well, let's inject until that don't work no more, and then what do we got at 8 years old? We got a crippled horse.
Yeah.
When maybe you should have slowed down back there and not try to get him to the first one. Maybe waited a few months or a year to get him to the next one and not get in a rush right there.
No, I think that's a great point. You can only go as fast as they'll let you.
Yeah, the horse tells you everything.
Yep.
If you just take your time and listen to them, they're smarter than we are.
Yep.
By far. They just don't. The only
Communicate.
thing they can't do is they can't talk like we can.
Yeah. Figure that out. You'd make a lot of money.
They would do better math than I do, I bet.
They might speak better English than I do. I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, they're everything.
Appreciate you coming on. Appreciate having you on.
Yeah, it was good.
Is there anything else before you go that you want to tell clients or?
Clients, prospect clients, anybody. What do you think people ought to know? Where can they find you?
Cedar City, Utah.
We'll leave you, if you're good with it, we'll leave your info on here so they can get a hold of you if
Okay.
they want something trained.
Yeah, they. I don't really know with clients. I guess trust your trainer and do some research on him, and like there are bad trainers that give people a bad taste in their mouth.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that there's definitely them people that set the mode or set the pace for everyone. And just make sure you don't wind up with one of them, I guess. Just watch what they do or do some research on them, and because there's some, I've witnessed them, they don't ride your horse, or maybe they don't take care of your horse, and that gives a bad name to all trainers, because pretty soon that person tells this person and this person tells that person, and then
It's a big community, but it's a tight-knit community.
Yeah.
Word travels fast.
yeah, there's so many good trainers and there's so many good people out there but they can get ruined a little bit by the bad ones.
Yeah.
And Utah's hard. There's so many little trainers, so many little programs, like the I'll take one after work, or I'll take one here, that. And I don't know if it's like that other places, but it's hard for. I feel like that's kind of where the bad name will get, or the bad name gets started in the little ones like that. I'm just trying to get $1,000 extra a month over here, so send me your horse. And hey, I worked late for the last 2 weeks, but I've had your horse a month. Pay me $1,000, and pretty soon that guy's like, what'd that guy do with my horse? And I'm gonna send it over here, and you put $5,000 into a horse with this guy, and then pretty soon when you come to and say, I'm gonna just send it to a guy that's good at it, and you send it to him, and pretty soon you say, hey, I got way too much in this horse already. Just try to go at this one and get him done as fast as you can.
Mm-hmm. That's the last thing a guy
That
wants
is
to
the
hear.
last thing you want to hear, is see how far you can get him in this amount of time.
Yeah.
And know your horse. You got to listen to him.
Know what
60
you got.
days might be good on one and not on another.
Yeah. That's great advice.
Yeah.
Well, appreciate it. You want to do another giveaway?
Yeah, let's do one more.
End with one more?
Yep.
End with a bang.
Devin Bunker.
Devin Bunker. More grooming gloves. We already did the plug for the grooming gloves.
Can scrub your toes with them.
Yeah, you are going to take them in the shower.
I am.
Both hands.
Both.
They come to
You
the
got
back of two.
You got feet ones too?
You got a left and right. No, but I might get you.
Can scratch my head with it.
Let's see you scratch your head with your foot. Oh my gosh, I wouldn't be able to stand up if I did that. Devin, DM us your info. Guys, appreciate you tuning in. Dylan, thanks again. Tune in next week. This has been the BioMane Scoop.